So, good morning, class. Our today's topic is communicable diseases. First, we have to see what are the common diseases that is found in the human being and what are the disease causing agent. So, any substance which cause a disease by its presence of in excess amount or in deficient amount or in sometimes absent of that particular substance is known as the disease causing agent. And the organism which belongs to the bacteria, virus, fungus, protozoans, helminths, etc., or we can say the microorganisms which cause the diseases in the human being is known as the pathogens. So pathogens act as a parasite by living on or in the host cell, inside the host cell or outside the host cell, means ectoparasite and endoparasite, and harm the human being or the host cell. Mode of transmission, or we can say it is an epidemiology, or the mode of transmission or the entry of this pathogens into the host cell by the different means. Once it enter into the host body, it multiply and interfere the normal vital activity of that cell, resulting the morphological and functional damage of that particular host cell. Pathogen, after it enter into the host, actually it adapt itself based on the environment, in that particular environment. Example, pathogens entering gut region should have to survive at a very low pH value and assist with the digestive enzymes. The first very common disease in the human being is a communicable disease known as the typhoid. The causative agent is the Salmonella typhi. It is a bacterium, and the mode of transmission is through the contaminated food and water that enters into our small intestine and then migrate to other organs through the blood circulation. The main symptoms of this typhoid is the fever, that sustained high fever near about 39 degree to 40 degrees centigrade. The patient will feel the weakness and stomach pain, sometimes constipation, headache, loss of appetite, means there is no desire of taking the food, and in the severe cases the sometimes intestine will get the perforate and the intestinal perforations, and at this stage it is a severe conditions, the patient may be dead. Confirmation of this disease is Vidal test. One very interesting story about this typhoid is that Mary Mellon, a nickname is the typhoid. Mary was a lady cook actually by profession, and she was known as a carrier to continue to spread the typhoid for many years through the food she prepared. So this is the diagram of the Salmonella typhi, a bacterium, and contaminated food and water is responsible for epidemiology, the mode of transmission, and the symptoms are found the loss of appetite, fever, nausea, sometimes abdominal pains and diarrhea also, and in severe cases the vomiting is also there. Second very common disease in the human being is known as the pneumonia. The causative organism is the Streptococcus pneumoniae and Haemophilus influenzae. It is a two strain of the bacteria, and the mode of transmission is the inhalation of the droplets, or we can say it is aerosols that released by any infected person and by sharing the glass and the pots etc. with the infected person. The main symptoms is the disease developed by causing the infection in the respiratory tract and the alveoli cells of the lungs. Due to the infections, it get filled with the fluid, and in severe, if the severity is found in the respiration process, the symptoms include the fever, sometimes chills, cough and headache. Severe cases, the lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color, and it is due to the decrease in the percentage of the oxygen in the human blood. Third, a very common disease is a viral disease, that is the common cold. And the causative agents are the rhinoviruses. The mode of transmission is the inhalation of the droplets of cough or sneeze of any infected person, and we can say the transmission through the contaminated object also. The symptoms is found in this common cold is the it infects the nose and respiratory passage, but not the lungs. Actually, common cold shows the symptoms like a nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness means change of the voice, and cough, headache, tiredness, etc. And all these symptoms will take usually last for the 3 to 7 days. Next disease is very common disease, malaria, and the causative organs is the plasmodium. It is a protozoan. It is a protozoan disease. Plasmodium vivax, Plasmodium malari, and Plasmodium falciparum. And Plasmodium falciparum, it is a malignant malaria. It may be a very fatal disease. And epidemiology is the bite of a female Anopheles mosquito. Female Anopheles mosquito required mammalian blood for the nourishment and development of her eggs. So it is going to be bite to suck the blood. The target organ in case of the human beings are the RBC and liver, both the organs. And the symptoms are high fever and chills, very high fever, and shivering, chill. Fever occurs on every alternate day, means just after 24 hours or 48 hours, and the patients feel vomiting sometimes. Here is the life cycle of the malarial parasite. This picture I have taken from your NCERT book. When the mosquito bites another human being, any human being, that human being is the patient of the malaria. And here you can see the mosquito is taking blood from the infected person, and during this time, with the saliva, the sporozoites, the infected stage of the malarial parasite, get injected into the bloodstream, and from the bloodstream it travel to reach the liver of the human being, and in the liver cells the parasite reproduce asexually method and develop into the male and female gametes. And after the bursting of this liver cells, it goes to attack on the RBC, and human RBC is non-nucleated. So this parasite is going to burst the RBC cells, and during the bursting of the RBC cells, the cells released a chemical named hemojoin, which is responsible for the chills and high fever. Again, then after bursting of these cells, sometimes oxygen level may be decreases because oxygen is bound with the hemoglobin. The male and female gametes are present in the blood of that malarial parasite infected persons. When any mosquito bite that infected persons, taken the gametocytes along with the human blood in the gut region. It reaches to the gut region of the mosquito and the blood vessels, through the blood vessels, and fertilizations take place in the mosquito intestine. After that, it migrated to the salivary glands. The sporozoites conditions are found here, and when the mature infected stage or sporozoites escape from the intestine and migrate to the mosquito salivary glands. Again, when the mosquito bites another human being, the sporozoites are injected into the another person. This is the life cycle of the Plasmodium or malarial parasite. So Plasmodium requires two hosts. You can see here human being and the mosquito, female Anopheles mosquito. And life cycle of Plasmodium start with injecting sporozoites through the bite of the infected female Anopheles mosquito. The parasite initially multiply within the liver cells and then attack to the RBC, resulting in their rupture. There is a release of a toxic substance called the hemojoins from the ruptured RBC and responsible for the chill and high fever. From the infected human, the parasite enter into the body of the Anopheles mosquito during biting and sucking blood. Further development take place in the body of the Anopheles mosquito. So there are the two hosts, human and mosquito. Next disease is known as the amoebiasis or amoebic dysentery. The causative organ is agent is the ant amoeba histolytica, or it is also a protozoan, and the mode of transmission is from the fecal material of the infected person to the food, or we can say through the mechanical carrier, is known as the house flies is the mechanical carrier of this disease, and drinking water contaminated by the fecal materials are the main source of this infection. The main target organs is the large intestine, and the symptoms include the constipation, as it is a large intestine disease, abdominal pain and cramps, stools with excess mucus, and sometimes there is a blood clot also, amoebiasis. This you can see here a cyst, amoeboid cyst is there. Contaminated food or water is injected here. In the second case, this is transformed into the active forms of the parasite in the intestine, and it can live here, causing only mild symptoms or none at all. But in some cases, the parasite burrow through the wall of the intestine and then carried by the bloodstream and infect the other organs like liver, lungs, and brain also. And some of the parasite passed to the fecal materials and transform it into the cyst to survive in a harsh condition outside the body until they will become to find the another host. Next disease is Helminth disease. The Helminth, very common Helminth, Ascaris lumbricoides, a roundworm. The disease is known as the ascariasis in the human being. Actually, Ascaris is an endoparasite, and the epidemiology is the consumption of the contaminated water, vegetables, fruits, or through the fecal contaminated products like the fecal materials of the infected person, which have the eggs of the parasite without, for example, the vegetables and fruits that are not sufficient washed. And the target organ is the intestine also, whole intestine. The symptoms are internal bleeding of intestine due to the perforation of in the inner wall of the inside the inner wall of the intestine. The muscular pain is also there, the fever, anemia, and the blockage of the intestinal passage. You can see here the male and female, both are the separate adult. Ascaris adult, male and female, and here is the intestine, the contaminated food and vegetables. The cramping pain is found due to the blockage of the intestine, as the female can lay near about 150 to 200 eggs in a day. Next disease is also a Helminth disease named filariasis or elephantitis. The main causative organism is the Vaucheria and Vaucheria bronchophyti and Vaucheria malai, the filarial worms, and the epidemiology means mode of transmission through the mosquito vector here. The Culex, female Culex mosquito is the vector. The target organs are the lymphatic vessels of the lower limbs, means the lower side of the limbs, and sometimes the genital organs also. In the symptoms, the chronic inflammation of the organs for many years. If the disease can survive for the very many years, the lymphatic vessels may swell up, an appearance of just like an elephant, like leg. So the disease is known as the elephantiasis, or sometimes deformation of genital organs also. Here you can see when the mosquito bites and take the blood meal. At that time, if the mosquito is infected with the Vaucheria, there is the 3 larval stage in case of the Vaucheria. The 3rd larval stage is the infectious stage, and it enter into the human body. Adults in the lymphocytes drain out to the lymphocytes. Adults produce the sealed microfilaries and migrate into the lymph and blood channel. And again then, when the next times when the another mosquito bites to take the blood from that infected human being, so the microfilaries set seals penetrate mosquito midgut and migrate to the thoracic muscles of the mosquito, and this is the larval first stage, second stage, and third stage, and it migrate to the head of the mosquitoes and proboscis, and then at last into the salivary glands. So this is the life cycle of the Vaucheria. Next disease is a very common disease of fungal infection, that is known as the ringworm. The causative organisms are the three types of fungus: Microsporum and Trichophytons and Epidermophyton. So epidemiology, it is acquired from the soil, which is a soil-borne disease, and by using the towels, clothes, and even comb of the infected individual. Heat and moisture is responsible to enhance the growth of that organism. So it is mostly found in the rainy season, and the target organs are the skin, nails, the fold of skin in the groin area and toes area. So symptoms are the appearing of a dry skin lesions in the skin, nails and scalp, and the very important symptoms are the intense itching with the burning sensation in that lesions. Look at this, it is a Microsporum ringworm. The prevention and control of this disease, we can say the infectious disease can be prevented through the maintenance of personal and public hygiene. And the disease can be grouped as the disease through the food and waterborne disease. So through the contaminated food and waterborne disease, and airborne disease through the air, vector-borne disease. Food and waterborne, in the food and waterborne disease, proper personal hygiene include the keeping the body clean and the consumption of the clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruit, etc. Proper public hygiene, which include the proper disposal of the waste and excreta of human being. Periodic cleaning and disinfection of the water reservoir, pools and cesspools and tanks, and observing standard practice of the hygiene in the public catering. So the example of the disease which is caused due to the food and waterborne diseases are very common: typhoid, amoebiasis and ascariasis. The airborne diseases, close contact with the infected person and their belongings should be avoided, and the personal hygiene is very important to prevent the disease, just like pneumonia and common cold. The vector-borne disease, the controlling or elimination the vector and their breeding places. So avoiding the stagnation of the water, stagnant water, and in around the residential areas, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of the mosquito nets are the main, play a very important role for the preventing of the vector-borne diseases. And sometimes introducing of the fishes like Gambusia fishes in the pond that feed on the mosquito larva, spraying of insecticides in ditches, drainage areas and swamp areas. Doors and windows have to wire mesh to prevent the entry of the mosquito like Aedes and Culex mosquito, house flies. The main disease which can prevent by this prevention is the malaria, filariasis, dengue, chikungunya. And the disease can also be prevented by the vaccine and immunizations. We know that the vaccine can eradicate the smallpox, polio, diphtheria, pneumonia and tetanus here. And through the biotechnology, we can also make the very newer or the safer vaccines for the many harmful diseases. The discovery of antibiotics and various other drugs has also enables us to effectively to treat the infectious diseases. So this is all about this lecture.